So let's talk about raising kids on a homestead, and potentially ones that don't yet appreciate homesteading life like you do.
This week I thought I'd talk to you about kids on a homestead and living with kids on a homestead or a farm, and whether it's beneficial or detrimental. Whilst doing this, I'm going to finish off my new little veggie patch. The new house is going to go on that dirt mound behind me, and here is a little pergola that is actually going to be the structure for some grapes. They're a bit slow growing, but they are in there in the ground. And right beside it is my little veggie patch. Strategically placed here because one, it's close to the house. So this is going to be a vegetable and herb garden. So using those permaculture principles, you want it to be close to the house. And two, it's close to water. There's a dam there, there's a pump there. I can just turn it straight on, it's hooked up to electricity, and I get access to water. Oh, and I forgot to mention one more thing. It does get great sun in this area in both winter and summertime.
We have two kids. Our daughter is 14 and our son is 9. And like all parents, we want to do the best thing for our kids. So we continually ask ourselves, are we doing the right thing for our kids by living on a farm, or would it be better for them if we lived in town? Our daughter definitely has a long list of things she doesn't love about the farm. Things such as an hour bus ride to and from school, living not so close to many of her friends, having to help out with farm chores like feeding chickens, delivering baby lambs, harvesting crayfish, mowing the yard. Our son, on the other hand, seems to take it in his stride. He enjoys the hour bus rides home with all his mates. And when he arrives home, he jumps on his motorbike and heads off to visit the goats. That's his favourite animal here on the farm. He happily feeds chickens and collects eggs. He happily moves animals and checks on animals. He's curious about things happening here on the farm, what we're doing and why we're doing it. He enjoys learning to operate machinery and driving around the side-by-side four-wheel drive and the golf buggy, as well as learning to drive our little manual Suzuki.
Otherwise it wants to go into second.
So it would appear that one kid loves it and the other kid hates it. I ask myself, is it age, personality, or perhaps is that just what adolescence looks like? Research shows that early adolescence is a period of heightened sensitivity to peer belonging, identity formation, and independence. Teenagers often feel tension between family values and their emerging sense of self.
Well, I tell you what, I'm feeling super grateful that Anthony had the excavator out. Hopefully it's made my job a bit easier, because I did dig most of that garden by hand and it wasn't fun. Anyway, here we go.
We're fortunate here to have a really huge layer of topsoil. So I can dig straight into this and mound it up instead of having to do something like sheet mulching and bringing in more dirt. And I'll wood chip these pathways to stop the weeds. To a teenager, what once felt normal can suddenly feel restrictive. What once felt adventurous can feel inconvenient. Longer commute, less nearby friends, more responsibility, and less comfort. From a developmental point of view, it makes sense that a 14-year-old may resist what a 9-year-old embraces. Younger children tend to live more in the present moment. Adolescents are scanning for identity, comparison, and autonomy. So perhaps they are just in different seasons of development. As parents, we constantly wrestle with that question. Are we doing what's best for our children? The truth is, what's best for our children is rarely the smoothest path. Resilient research tells us that moderate, manageable adversity builds coping skills. Psychologists call this stress inoculation. When children experience effort, boredom, disappointment, and even frustration in a supportive environment, they build internal strength. If we remove every obstacle and smooth every path and solve every discomfort, we may unintentionally weaken their ability to navigate real life. And there are so many benefits to children growing up on a farm or homestead, such as the direct reward from effort, like planting seeds, watching them grow, nurturing them, and then reaping the rewards of the harvest. Observing and being a part of life cycles, and that includes even death. Solving problems like pipes breaking, animals escaping, unforeseen weather events. When foxes get chickens, when storm flatten fences or trees fall the wrong way, our children watch us respond. Sometimes we fix it promptly, and other times we jimmy it up for a temporary solution. Either way, they learn new skills and adaptability. And regardless of whether we lived in town or on acreage, our kids would still have chores. Contributing to family life is not punishment, it's participation. Studies show that children who contribute to household tasks develop stronger competence and empathy and long-term work ethic. And sometimes things that seem to be a negative can actually turn out to be a positive, such as living half an hour out of town. In our busy homestead life, we're often spread across the paddocks, sheds, caravans and gardens. We eat dinner together every night we can, which is great. We have wonderful conversations. But the reality is, we're never really together all at once, just sitting around and chatting. So I'm all done. It may not be perfect, but it's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So over the next few days, we're going to get some rain and then I'm going to plant into it. Plant like this. So we're going to plant some garlic. Like, can I dig some? You want to dig it? Yeah. Well, if you want to try and dig a row just like that. So the car ride home becomes an opportunity for conversation. In these half an hour stretches, I hear about dramas that happened at school, new interests, new friendships, emerging dreams, things that they've learnt that day, and emotional decompressing happens. And I really do love that. So I'm willing to overlook the downsides of living out of town. Things such as higher fuel consumption, the wear and tear on your car, having to batch together errands, and having to leave a little bit earlier than you would if you lived in town. What kids don't love wide open spaces? The connection to the land when it rains and floods. You really can't help but notice that when you've got a massive dam in your backyard overflowing, perhaps you roll out the black plastic and create a water slide. And when your friends come over, you get to ride with them on the side-by-side four-wheel drive and the golf buggy and take them on a tour of the farm. My son gets to ride his motorbike around the property and my daughter does aerial silks, so she's lucky enough to have the space to set up her silk rig. Yeah. And how lucky is she to have the backdrop of nature? They also get to enjoy the tastes of the farm. From fruit and vegetables plucked straight out of the garden to their mother's homemade cooking. Everything fresh and homemade, sourdough, biscuits, cakes, quiches, pies, mango ice cream, fresh salads, stews, curries, marshmallows, the list goes on. Food you can't buy anywhere else, you just can't get this quality and flavour. They are blessed to know the taste of real food. Living on a homestead means we have the ability to educate our children on what real food is, where it comes from, how to prepare it, and how to cook it. When we first moved to the farm, our son struggled deeply with the life cycle of animals. He found illness and death very confronting, as he is a very empathetic and compassionate soul. Over time, he has developed an understanding that life is a cycle, and not us nor the animals will be here forever. He especially struggled with the thought of breeding animals for our own meat. Through many conversations and education, he now sees the benefits of raising your own meat. He understands that we care for our animals and we give them the best life we can. And when their life has to come to an end, it's done quickly and humanely. We are also parenting in a rapidly shifting technological era. Artificial technologies are rapidly transforming industries at an extraordinary speed. Jobs that seem safe today may dramatically change in 5 to 10 years. This uncertainty makes it difficult for us parents to guide our children towards traditional job paths. And maybe perhaps this is where homesteading values matter more. Work ethic, adaptability, problem solving, entrepreneurial skills, emotional resilience, self-sufficiency, and perhaps then homesteading or farm life is not regressive but foundational. We don't homeschool our children, but I do love the idea of homeschooling. We are very aware of not isolating our children from the world. They attend a private school in town. We love to teach them life skills and they participate in sports. Our daughter actually travels around Queensland participating in competitions for her aerial artistry. We love to take holidays and our kids enjoy visiting major cities. So we're just taking some of the outer shell of the garlic off, mostly just around the root part and a little bit on the top so it can sprout, and then we're planting that into the ground. We're trying not to damage the garlic clove. Otherwise, instead of growing, it might just rot. People today seem to think that children have a sense of entitlement, and maybe every generation thinks that. We live in a world where there's more comfort and more convenience. I think that's just a part of evolution. On one hand, I love this mindset, like things will just come easy to me. Oh, it'll just happen for me. Everything always works out. And I think naivety can be a blessing. I mean, if we really knew how hard a mountain was to climb, would we ever climb it? To some degree, I think we're all shaped by our childhood. My mother struggled with mental illness, so we were predominantly raised by my father. He did a great job, but he didn't exactly have that motherly love. I grew up responsible, serious, not exactly carefree. I guess that can happen when you have an absent mother and you feel the need to step into her shoes. So when I see my daughter focused on fun, friends, makeups, and good times, it fills me with joy. She doesn't seem to have the weight on her shoulders like I had. When children are bored, they create. When they have done hard work, they rest. When they struggle, they grow. If one day they want to leave the farm and explore the world, then wonderful. I hope they do. I hope they're super curious about the world and all it has to offer. The world is a magical place and it's worth exploring. But I also believe that something of this life will sit in their bones. The rhythm of the seasons, the connection to the land, to know Mother Nature so intimately, to be okay with being who you are and not having to strive for more, the ability to be at peace. And I think the land offers that. Connection to the moon, the stars, the sky, the rain, and creatures big and small.